Must finish the social posts. Give me a second. Oh, I did it again. Hang on. Vox. Edit. Rubrics. Almost complete. There we go. Post. Followed by an immediate post. All right. Everything should be ready. Everything should be prepped. Everything should be done. Yeah. So we are actually on the rubrics. Late last night and early into this morning. What's up, Kobold? I managed to, I guess, power through the rest of my, 20 Terminators. I did all the gold glow. I touched up some things. I realized I actually didn't paint some base circles. Do not apologize for not being around. Life happens. If you gotta do you for a bit, that's fine. I mean, I took a couple months off of streaming in general, just because I was trying to get other stuff done. You're fine. Yeah, we gotta get the purple done on all my purple rubrics. Might have to reassess some stuff for the Discord. Been looking around at the goings on. Games Workshop trying to tighten up control of their IP. So the 3D STL channel and the TTS chat channel, we might not let people, like, I think the limitation is we might not let people, like, post links to, like, modules unless in message format to each other. I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. What's up, Phoenix? I did see some stuff about Templars. I didn't see the full-on info about Grey Knights. I saw that they're getting a Dreadnought. Like, at a classic Dreadnought. So now you're just going to see that out of Space Wolves, and then you're going to see it out of Grey Knights. That's about it. Oh, in a WoW dungeon, you say? I gotta keep up with the deep slash, I guess, HPS. It's not really HPS though, it's just general, I guess, healing efficiency. So I guess that'd be like HE. Did the DPS meters get good enough to, like, check for healing efficiency? We had an old guild master. Oh, dude, I love Valheim. Valheim was so surprising for me. It's one of the few situations where I didn't look super far into the game. I was just trying to find something enjoyable to play. Because my friends were coming off of a speed Terraria grind. One of our buddies kind of wanted to play through a full run of Terraria. So we just came off of basically beating that to the far end of it. Pre-super modules from, you know, community stuff. And I just started playing Valheim out of nowhere. And then one of my friends from Cali was like, he saw me playing it. He was like, is that a good game? I've been trying to figure it out. I was like, dude, I figured so much out in this game. I didn't look anything up either. I was just discovering stuff. And that experience was nuts. Freaking them being like, yeah, you gotta build a fire to rest, you know? And so I just built a fire and, you know, like simple survival game brain had me build it inside my hut. And next thing you know, my character's like dying from smoke inhalation. And that's when it all hit. It's when everything clicked. I was like, oh no, this is going to be awesome. So my friends all joined and we built this giant village. We cut out a really big area nearby that was sort of like a moat. Had one bridge going into the town. This massive dock that had like 4 major ships in it. Like 4 of the big boats. Dude, it was so fun. We're sitting up on the hillside in our giant, like I built this giant like Viking cabin. Just huge, and it had this massive overlook area where you could look out into the ocean. So when it was like storming and stuff, it's crazy. I'm a little sad we went as hard as we did. Because I know they released a ton of new stuff. And the way it was supposed to go is if you've been to somewhere in the world, in your save file, it'll randomly generate the new stuff if you haven't been to those zones yet. And I think we went to almost every swamp zone and almost every... I think it was... the plains. We went to like so many of them. We even had a few of the Mistlands mapped out, even though they weren't really like a lot of stuff. So we had this really cool world with this amazing base that was so well designed with a great little like teleportation system built into it. And now it's just like, oh, I kind of want to just do it again then, right? But I don't know if any of us have the time. Although the way it worked before is I would actually just set it up as a server. Like I would have a server running on my computer. Anyone that wanted to pop in, get some work done, I'd usually like leave notes. Like, we need this kind of wood. Go out and get it. We built such cool stuff. Near the merchant, the early merchant that they had, like at the beginning of the release, we actually built a treehouse. Like, full blown, all up in the trees, kind of like gridded treehouse. Part of me wanted to come back just to build a treehouse fort. Get one of those really big ones. No, yeah. It's the jank of it, like the launching system and all that, where you're able to launch your character model way too far. That was an appeal, definitely, for the game. Like, it was cool. But for us, like, for me and my friends, a lot of it was the preparation, figuring out efficiency increases for crafting, knowing where to go and setting up base camps with decent teleportation systems built in. So that, like, if we needed certain kinds of meat, we knew where there was a biome that had a lot of that type of stuff in it. And you could just go out there. There was, like, gear in boxes and things that we would take out there and just leave in case you needed some stuff while you were there. Like, we put in the work. Tried to make that hella efficient. And we got super lucky. One of the first plains areas we found had the plains boss, like, spawning spot in it. To my understanding, that's actually a difficult thing, or at least it was back then, because you were supposed to complete a mission and then they would tell you where it was, and there was like only one spawn for it in the world. And we already had a base right next to it. And that was, I think, where the game ended when we first played. Mistlands wasn't out yet. There were promises of roving factions. It's crazy. What we're painting today is we're finishing up these rubrics. We got to do the rest of the purple on the armor, and then we got to do the green for the glow effects. I also think I want to do wet on wet for the loincloths, although I don't think I need that. I think the Leviathan blue worked really well. I probably don't need to do the wet on wet blend. So we could be good on that. But yeah, we're just putting Gene Stealer purple onto the armor. My 3 rubric units, I have 40 rubrics, I think, no. 20 rubrics for each segment. 2 of them have 1 squad guns, 1 squad flamers. And then 1 of the 20 is only guns. Which, at first I thought I made a mistake because flamers are just so baller. But now with the new rules where the bolt guns are actually pretty good. I mean, a full-on flamer squad is great for spiking just sheer output damage. But AP2 ignore cover is pretty good. Do not underestimate AP2 ignore cover. Especially from 24 inches instead of 12. But yeah, these are the purple ones. And the last of my rubrics. So we finished the Terminators. Super excited about finishing those guys up this morning. All the little details I needed to enhance. The touch-up work I needed to do. So 25 Terminators are set. It also allowed me to realize I am missing some stuff for my Terminators. Apparently, I am missing 1 Hellfire missile rack. I think I know what happened to it. I was trying to pull it off of the back of one of them so that I could basically magnetize it, because this was back when they cost points to field, and if you didn't want them, it was probably better to not take it. Friggin' gnat. What's up, Karga? It's getting hot out, so the gnats are out. Must stay vigilant. I'm still not fully versed in what we're going to be doing with the Chaos Knights. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack a bunch of brimstones with them. I'm going to use the brimstones as markers for when they're empowered. That seems to be very important to track, because the empowering does sound really interesting. It probably will never end up this way, but you can sort of bait people to either do something or prevent something. And it's kind of cool. Because if I empower my Tyrant and I just leave it on the back line, the whole goal for me, I think, with the Tyrant is to empower it, use, I think, either sustain or lethal, depending on what I'm shooting into. I think sustain's probably the best one for it. And then after my opponent moves, in the move phase, I need to look at the field, determine who he's looking at with what, and then either repower the Tyrant if he's going to try to shoot my Tyrant off the board, or repower someone else for a command point. Like, that's where the biggest stink of Empower is probably going to go. It's that and Diabolic. So I need to try to store up like 4 command points from the beginning of the game. That way, if somebody's about to shoot, let's say, my Tyrant, like, my Tyrant's the only thing his weapons can see. Anyone else he shoots at, he'd only be able to have to split fire against them, and it's not as good. You know, that kind of stuff. I would basically spend a command point at the end of the move phase to re-empower the Tyrant, and then in the shooting phase, once it's targeted, I would give it a 4+ invulnerable. Because I think that's what I get. And I would also pop the Empower, so that I think for the rest of the phase, this is going to be a big one, and I need to take a look at it. But I think it's for the rest of the phase, he is under the effects of the empowered function, which would give him a 6-up feel no pain. And if you shoot at him with damage 1 weapons, his armor roll gets increased by 1. The trick is, this isn't benefit of cover, and I just realized this today. So if you shoot dead on into my Tyrant with like a bunch of like no AP 1 damage shots, and you're just hoping maybe Weight of Fire will bring it down, if I pop this, the way his enhancement works is he now has a 2+ save against that. Specifically the 1 damage ones. End of the day, I'm mostly doing it because he has toughness 13 with this enhancement, which I don't think is enough of a bracket to matter, but it at least causes issues with las cannons, and maybe that's useful. I don't know enough of the bracketing for other weapons. Like, aren't Dark Lances and Bright Lances all 12s, just like las cannons? I feel like there's just a ton of stuff in this game that's 12. And now Vashdor's Soulforged can have Forge Fiends that have strength 12 plasma cannons. That's fine. That's just more people for my 1,000 Suns to decimate. It's hard to turn down Vikings, though. And you got Space Vikings, bro. Space Vikings. Claim they're led by Leif Erikson. You just go with it. Purple, purple, purple. Let me actually look that up, because I need to naturalize these rules. There's a mild chance I'm going to try to figure out my schedule this week and try to get a test game in either Wednesday or Thursday. Because if I can get a test game in Wednesday, I'll feel a lot better about using this squad at a tournament. Just because it's like, oh, I've seen some stuff. I've done some things. Alright. Empowered. While modeling this unit makes a normal advanced fallback move, when this unit is selected to shoot, when this unit is selected as a target of an attack, until the end of the phase. Yep, until the end of the phase. You're going to Leaf Erickson? You can use whatever the actual name is for the guy that Bluetooth is named after. He liked blueberries. So much so that they stained his teeth blue. So he had a nickname Bluetooth. That's why the Bluetooth symbol is two runes on top of each other. The rune for blue and tooth. Leaf Erickson. There's gonna be like one person in the world who gets that reference. Freaking the dictionary show. Ugh, this gnat keeps getting away. I just want to kill you. Come back. Stupid gnat. Yeah, you can make him as a space wolf. Put a little blueberry bush on his base. One of your commanders. I wonder if anybody would be down for a Wednesday game. I wish I knew my schedule better, because I don't know if I gotta be somewhere Wednesday. Yeah, I definitely forgot to do this guy's backpack. Oh, 5 to go. I finally got my first round in for the Combat Patrol event. It was against one of the better players in the store, but he wanted to play a team that, like, if he wins with it, it's very much because the opponent doesn't really know how to play the game at all. Like, I didn't score my secondaries because I completely spaced on how they're supposed to work. I was playing the Thousand Suns, the new detachment. I really want to play the Demons version, but that White Dwarf isn't out yet, so here we are. But he was playing Imperial Knights because he at least wanted a slight chance to win. What's up, Kurtz? And Imperial Knights have a far superior chance to win than the Chaos Knights. But the way I played, I got a little bit lucky. Oh, progress is almost done, too. At least for, like, the main stuff. I'd have to update my Helldrakes, but, I mean, I feel like by the time I'm actually done the Helldrakes, they might Legends them, so I'm not super pressed. Alright, there's not. And we technically have all these conversions for the Secret robots that I really need to take a look at. Get some work done on. It's going to be important. I do feel like they're kind of bread and butter for at least the mech detachment. Because at T6, it's not bad. I do think their ballistic skill on the Meltagun, and even their weapon skill, sort of makes it a hard pick, though. Just like in general, for the points value. All you're getting out of the points value is an invulnerable save, the infiltrate rule, the flamers, and the toughness, which I think is like T6, I want to say. Which is okay. It's not bad. I think running one full-size squad is probably all you really want to do. Because then you can string them out and try to block an area of the midfield from other infiltrators. Finally got my email from Tabletop Stronghold. I ordered a box from them like 2 weeks ago. I hadn't heard anything. I was getting a little worried. To my understanding, those guys are taking off. Nice. 40 is a good number of rubrics. I have 60, and these are the last, I guess, because we got to do the green stuff on them, the last 20. We've been trying to tear through it. Technically, these were kind of painted a year ago. But the old system that I painted them in, I wasn't happy with it. I was. Let's be real. I was pretty happy with it. It was a quick and easy method. But after seeing the Combat Patrol picture with the Demon Prince with the matte blue armor plating, I decided I wanted to go back and do all my armor plating in matte. All the blue ones, the purple ones, the burgundy ones. All of it. We even fully updated the rest of the armor plate on my knights. So like whereas before, like some of the plates like here, the weapons wrap plate, stuff like that, the missile launcher plate, like that was, I think the generator plate there, that was all like contrast over metallic. Now it's just pure matte. It was even crazier when we did that with the larger ones. Thankfully, my Castigator just needed 3 components painted blue. It was good. The Abominant needed a bit more, and the Tyrant definitely needed a bit more. But yeah, what are you doing for your Thousand Suns? What you focusing on? You got 40 rubrics. Are you going Phalanx? Phalanx seems interesting. There was a guy that tried it at one of the tournaments I went to recently, and it didn't pan out, but that's just because Imperial Knights were there in bulk with that new detachment from the, I think the Grotmist detachment. That was just like feel no pains and ugh. Yeah. That's my burgundy ones. I did Sigvald burgundy for the contrast a year ago. And then I took Wordbearer red for the flatting for this year. I felt like that was good enough. And I think they look good. I think they're in their box right now, though. We might do burgundy for my Secret Robot conversions. Just because those robots are supposed to be, like, old, right? So they'd be pre-heresy. Figured that would be a fine color scheme. To anyone new to the channel, welcome in. We are simul streaming over to Twitch. Over on Twitch, the audio for my music is currently playing. It shouldn't be playing on YouTube unless something messed up on my OBS's end. Ah. Going to get that gnat. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want some music, just crack open another browser. YouTube's always been weird with music playing on streams. If you're into video games, all those like big video game events that happen for live streams, and they're like, yeah, you guys can stream it, everything's fine. And then a trailer comes on and the music on it plays and everyone gets struck. Yeah, that's basically life. That's life for a streamer over here. Music is the enemy. No, yeah. So are you contrasting? You said you were contrasting over metal? Yeah. So what's your approach for the over metal? Are you doing it over gold, or are you doing silver base and then the burgundy or red contrast in the panels and then a toning metal or a toning contrast to make it gold? Because doing it over gold's fine. That's what most of these were. Almost everything I had that involved contrast over metal did it over top of gold. It gave it a really nice, almost like magical look. Which, you know, that works in our favor. Perfect. 4 more. And then we just got to do the green stuff. I think I'm going to be okay with the blue robes the way they are. I like Leviathan blue as a contrast for like robes like this because it looks black, but there's like a tinge of blue to it, which is nice. It wouldn't be hard to do wet on wet blue. We'll see how I feel once we're done the green, honestly. Over gold, then flesh. Yep. Wait, does the Blood Angels red do anything? Dude, Flesh Terror's red is just straight up like, this is Flesh Terror's red now. Have you tried it without having to do the Blood Angels first? Freaking Flesh Terrors is like absolutely insane as a contrast. Like if contrast paint could have a base paint, that would be Flesh Terror's red. I've seen that thing convert just any color at any brightness to Flesh Terror red. The insanity. Because, yeah, my guys were just Sigvald. They were Sigvald Burgundy over gold. The gold tinting pulled the Sigvald Burgundy clean into red. Ugh. Ugh, phlegmy. But that's good. I do like Red Thousand Suns. The red paint scheme's pretty cool. Like, I like the blue. The blue does invoke some magic-based feels. Especially since it's like a light blue. Almost like a baby blue. I just got all hyped up, though. When the leak came out about the Thousand Suns getting Automata, I was genuinely hoping for, like, some kind of crazy new Siren Dreadnought style Automata. This is the problem for falling for, like, leaks and hypes. Because you kind of write your own, this would be the ideal story. And if the actual release doesn't match what you believe would be awesome, it feels bad. Like, I'm certain the robots have value. I'm certain about it. I just was, like, so not excited by them. Oh, thanks, Cockdie. Yeah, we're just trying to get through it. The final hits of paint. Can finally call these rubrics done. A lot of people rocking the YouTube today. Again, to anyone new, I've got music rolling over on the Twitch side of things. you're chilling and hobbying on the YouTube side and you're looking for something to listen to, you could always toss something on yourself, put up a playlist. So we are in hobby mode. Awesomely, I'm not super driven to have to complete these guys. That's a good thing. Upcoming tournament, I will be playing Chaos Knights, the new variants. That is more due to the time constraints of the general game. It is not fun playing 2K games with only 2.5 hours. 100% using a chess clock, 100% playing Chaos Knights so that I can, you know, go get food after a game's done. Still surprised the people running this don't, like, spread it out over the course of 2 days. I mean, I guess it's just better to do it only on Saturday. People showing up only need one ticket, not a whole weekend ticket. Maybe if this tournament feels like it's, you know, getting closer to being a good thing, they could put up the time and effort to make it like a GT instead of a RTT. Could be good overall. Get a bunch of people out there for like 2, maybe 3 days. Two rounds on Friday, 3 rounds on Saturday. Maybe 1 round on Sunday or something. I don't know. They had a metric ton of tables last year. We barely took up a portion of that room for our tournament. Anyone in the Philadelphia area this weekend, you guys can swing out. We're going to be at Too Many Games in Oaks, PA. I'm there for work technically, but Saturday I'll just be playing in a tournament. What up, Rax? Welcome in. We are in paint mode. How's it going, man? Hype for the weekend? few days away. I want to try to get a practice game in before then, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. A little stressed, but is what it is. It's never good going into something tournament related with brand new rules without a single moment of test. But that is what we're about to do. Doubt I will win, but I'm hoping to do better than not good at all. I'm starting to have Rain Man moments when I play games where my brain just does the thing where it's like, do I need to attack? Do I need to go this way? What if I just do this instead that guarantees me points and prevents him from getting points? And like, I'm having more and more of those moments at my casual games, and it's like, oh, we might be getting there, man. I might be at the point where I am now reflexively playing well. That's all I want. Took me decades to get there for video games. Now I'm almost there for tabletop. Dude, it's gonna be so weird. You standing by a table with nerds rolling dice, just being like, yeah! Get them crits! No, do not do that. Dude, do not do that. It's a little different than the basketball trash talk. At the very least, some of the big sweats aren't going to be there this weekend. I was keeping track of the roster since it seemed to be changing. The tickets were completely sold out, but then I guess there was a GT announced that had some more openings, so they all bailed. No, I know you will. I expect it. But I'd rather keep it cordial. I feel like the last time we went and did the tournament, the people I played against were... I think one of them was brand new. One of them was fairly new. And the last thing I want is to be playing against possibly new people. Because that's what Rogue Trader tournaments are all about. If you're not, I guess, centered enough to go play a GT, if you don't feel like your list is going to do well, or you're like not fully aware of your rules or something, you go to a Rogue Trader, because like the Rogue Traders are the simple tournaments, the more casual. And I mean, I'm still not there for GT readiness. Absolutely not. Last thing I'd want is someone who's like, this is my first tournament, to be sitting there while you're just standing next to him like, get fucked, nerd! Why are you making that play? You opening yourself up, son! Here comes the hurt. Freak those people out, man. But yeah, I should be chilling in that section basically all Saturday. I'm gonna try to remember to pre-purchase a bunch of food. Be completely ready to just stay in one section for freaking like 8 hours. Playing to prevent scoring? I mean, are you speaking of 40k? Kill team, it's all about spacing, because there's only so many different things an enemy can do. And as long as you space in ways where you can kind of be at the area that you want at the end of the game, you can deny so many points. Just based on what your enemy's side mission is or the main mission. But for 40k... So, here's... Let me finish this panel, this guy's paneling, and I can kind of go over the way you're supposed to sort of play, at least for competitive. Note that there's always an asterisk to like most of the things I'm going to tell you for competitive play. One, I pay attention to competitive play, and I am surrounded by some of the best Northeast and even international GW players. Like, for 40k, like one of the world's best Necron is someone I played with on a 4v4 team. Like, he was my team captain. Like, I listen to these people talk, I see how they do things, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then when I start playing, my brain goes, so we know all this. Well, we're not going to do any of it. We're just going to do whatever. And then that's kind of what happens. Because I play by impulse a lot. I try to kind of reach like a flow state, I guess you could say, and then just let the things happen as they need to happen. So I have to be very naturalized in what I'm playing. But that all being said, we can finish this guy's helmet in a second. Let's run down a theory craft here. Oh yeah, the Chris Chan toss out. The deserved Chris Chan toss out. So, pro games, where is it? Pro games, or competitive games rather, not pro. You know, you've always got your like layout, you've got where the objectives are, and then the terrain will be in those areas. You can kind of split what you want to do by attempting to deny primaries, which is a sort of reactionary way to play by sort of sitting in the area with a ton of objective control, if that's what your list has on it. So you sit in those zones, and then if somebody goes to that, you can kind of stall their main objective gain by just being like on the objective, close to the objective, those general things like that. But then you also get like side missions. And memorizing the side missions for the system you're currently playing is, let me move some stuff, massively important. So you get things like cleanse. Cleanse explicitly is like you have to be on an objective that isn't your own. You have to spend an action. These tend to just happen. If opponent of yours is like, I am doing cleanse as my fixed, then your whole purpose is to make sure they never have more OC than you do on those objectives to prevent this from occurring. Could be kind of a bait, but I'd say 9 times out of 10, a lot of these cards in here, you almost don't like. It's very weird to put it this way. You can't think about counteracting them necessarily. Not at least at first. Usually closer to the end of the game, or at least the middle of the game, is where you can really start trying to deny people stuff. Core ones on here for that are usually things along the lines of... is this the older? This is new. I think this might be old, actually. Are these pariah? I think these are pariah. Oh yeah, this is pariah, so this is old. Or no, it's not. That's not pariah. Okay. Oh no, this is pariah. Secret missions. So when things happen like area denial, when you learn that area denial, the main thing for it is being near middle. It's either 3 inches from center and an enemy is outside of 3 or outside of 6. So if you have a model that is very hard to shift, very hard to kill, and you know your opponent is doing tactical, there is a really good shot at preventing this 5VP. But there's multiple ways of doing it. Let's say you're playing Tyranids and you have a Norn. That Norn is probably going to mark the middle of the field for its benefit. The whole, like, feel no pain, a million OC bonus thing. You're going to go there with it by turn 2, hopefully, and sit in middle. And so long as your opponent doesn't get area denial, or before then, like somehow with some quick, effort, you now have a model that he's going to need to shift off middle in order to score this. And that's in a lot of different spots as well. In the new system, there's only like one mission that you could easily deny, and I believe that's sabotage. Someone has to start sabotaging. I think it's sabotage. There's only one right now where you start the action in your turn and it ends at the end of your opponent's turn. Or at the end of the game. Either one. So the whole purpose there is that you have people in regions where, like, if someone runs up with a squad of, like, let's say Reavers or something, just something in general, and they're just like, all right, I'm sabotaging this, and you're like, cool, and then I run a Rubric squad with Flamers to get vision on that squad using, the D6 move and all that, whatever, just super speed them across the field, and they pop over there, they open fire on the Reavers to kill it, and if they kill them, sabotage doesn't go off, that's a counterplay. Outside of that, it's just determining the pre-position of counterplay, like knowing where you're going to need to stand to prevent the counterplay. Like, a mission like Cleanse starts in the shooting phase, right? So if someone's running TAC Ops, like fixed objectives Cleanse, your goal is to out-OC them on objectives. And hopefully you have enough units on the field that have more OC than your opponent, at which point you can stand on the objective, right? You prevent them from being able to cleanse, hopefully, if you're durable enough or if they don't have enough stuff to shoot you to get you off the objective. And that's how you kind of prevent scoring. I'd say it's not as easy as it sounds, of course. I feel like most high-level games I've ever watched, usually the end score, if everything goes well for both players, you're looking at games that are like 100 to 95, like almost maximum score games. Because neither person provides his opponent with a chance to overwhelm something they're doing, while also losing all ability on the field to do their own stuff. You always have units to try to capture points. You always have things in position to be like, well, if I draw this card, I need to be over here, and that'll be fine. You have stuff in reserve that could be utilized in those ways, like single base models that have deep strike or something that are tiny, very hard to screen for, and it's like, oh, I have behind enemy lines, let me just plop my guy down behind your enemy lines. Now the thing is, I'm running a Tyrant in my list. I'm trying to counterplay missions a little bit with this list, and we're going to see if it works. I don't know, this is untested, but because of my Tyrant, almost the entire backline of the field, so long as he's kind of standing in the middle of the field, is completely shut down from deep strikes. Like, he alone is a screen, and he's one of the hardest to shift screens in the game. And I kind of like that about him. That's why I want to run 2 of them, even though it's super expensive. I think that's like half your army right there. There's a good chance if I run 2, I'm going to do it in Infernal Lance or Traitor Lance. And then it's going to be those 2 and then all War Dogs after the fact. So you can build lists to counter. Like, what do you play? Like, which team do you play? because this is important. This is sort of where the game begins and ends for a lot of really high-level players, is list building. What are you bringing? What's the value of the unit for the mission you're trying to cause to like occur or counter occur, based on the points value of how much it costs to achieve that thing. Like, there's all this craziness. So yeah, EC, that's right. You were talking about EC. EC is a little bit difficult because it's a little straightforward. For you, EC is a little less about necessarily trying to counter your opponent, and more not through like sitting on an objective and stopping it. Like, that's more orcs. That's more horde team. Like, if a big 20-man orc squad gets onto an objective that I'm trying to take with a 5-man MSU, there's actually a weird chance that he doesn't kill me. Like, a weird chance that with that squad, maybe he doesn't kill me. I mean, he probably will. It's probably a WOG turn, and he's going to roll like 1,000 dice and kill me. But if he doesn't kill me, regardless of what happens in that moment, I can't do anything on that objective because he has way more OC than I could ever imagine on that objective. Like, he could huck big squads of grots at things and not care about it. Whereas we, as EC players, because I do also play EC, it's more about how can you methodically pick apart your opponent so that by the end of turn 3, they don't have anything on the field. At least not enough stuff in good positions to matter. I think with EC, your biggest goal is to try to make sure your scoring units are absolutely safe. Like, whatever your Tormentor units or even your Chaos Spawn units are, they need to be absolutely safe. And then by the end of turn 3, your Demon Princes, your Infractors, your Noise Marines need to have killed every possible scoring unit the enemy has. I have made the mistake one too many times of trying to go for the scary things. Like, I would lunge for a Vindicator tank, right? I would try my best to kill a Vindicator. The trick is, in that same note, I could have wiped out a couple Gladius squads. Or at least, well, not Gladius, like, whatever the big armor Space Marines are. Like, I could have charged with Fulgrim, like 4 regular Space Marine squads. And held them all in place, not really caring too much about the Vindicator, and just tied people up long enough that there was nothing they could do for at least 2 turns. And if I had enough of them dead by the end of turn 3, all he'd have is basically 1 Vindicator, 1 slow-moving squad maybe, and then like 1 tank to go capture points with. And if that's it, I mean, he draws a card that's like behind enemy lines, and his Vindicator and other tank is nowhere near my back line, he loses. Because I have, hopefully, some Infractors or some Tormentors running around stickying objectives. Maybe I've got some stuff that's in reserve that's going to pop in a second and take some other points. Like, that's just the way to play it. Sort of like that, yeah. It's, for EC at least, the hard moment is knowing when the go-round is. Because you have a lot of power with your Infractors. Your goal for most of your Infractors is if your opponent... Like, if there's an objective, right? And you're behind a wall... my camera. If there's an objective and you're behind a wall with a squad of Infractors near the objective, don't stand on it. Right? Like, if you're looking at the game and your opponent's not scoring any main points because he doesn't want to move into the middle of the field because he's scared as hell of you, why would you move on? Unless you have something like a Chaos Spawn or something super cheap that you can just put on that objective when you need it. Like, if you get the whole be near the middle one, you can send a Chaos Spawn out for 90 points or whatever he is. I think they're like 60 or 80. You send him out, you do the thing. Chaos Spawns are fairly durable that he's going to need to over-apply the clapback. I don't think most... Like, what do you run? You run mostly Infractors. Did you avoid Noise Marines? I'm guessing you've got demon princes with wings. Do you have regular demon princes? Are you running a Lucius? Do you have any flawless blades? Give me the gist of your list. And we'll see what we can piece together as like a common strategy to use. And always, common strategies may need to be adapted depending on your opponent. If you're fighting Tau, it's going to feel a little different. So I think you said you were playing Peerless, and Peerless is all about melee. It's almost to the point where I'd say, if possible, avoid Noise Marines. Although with the toughness nerf to for any of the knights, Noise Marines do feel a lot better than they did. He's so purple. Because I feel like a list, if I ever ran Peerless Bladesman, I feel like I would probably lean into mostly, probably like 3 squads infractors, maybe even like 1 or 2 full squads of infractors. Miniatures from their line. Besides, Noise Marines can't find them in the 3 main factors I go against is Necrons, Chaos Space Marines, and Eldari. Peerless Blade. So if you're, let's say you're rocking the potential of like Lucius, which Lucius would be great in this list if you have him, giving him like a small squad of flawless, or even leaving him out so that he could be lone op, because you could pick your expansion spot on one of the sides, like the far back objective. You could decide that that's like Lucius's realm, and you could have a squad sitting on the other side of a wall, and then just move Lucius through the wall to stand on an objective and have lone op, so he's just kind of like hanging out there. I feel like you may also want to run 1 Demon Prince on foot, because those give an extra AP, I think, to allies within a range of them. They're also really good to do like a heroic intervention with. No, go for it. Maybe what you're going with, and if you have anything extra beyond that point, let me know. Because there are a few tricks that Peerless Bladesmen have access to that I kind of like. But a lot of what you're going to do with that kind of a list is call and response. You're basically sitting near objectives, waiting for opponents to step on them. The infractors step out, kill whatever's on it. But until that moment occurs, if you get a mission that's like go to middle, you do need units that could walk out without much worry. And the hierarchy of sort of the waves of Emperor's Children that you want to apply is usually a unit that pulls someone out that's annoying. 90% of the time, that's going to be Chaos Spawn, right? Let me take a look. So you are running a 10 Infractor. You have 6 Flawless. So yeah, you have Chaos Spawns. That's good. Mauler Fiends. So Mauler Fiends can be kind of fun. I've never had a good time with Mauler Fiends personally, but I know a lot of people who do really well with them. And I feel like Peerless Bladesman is a good detachment to run with that. Some Rhinos, that's pretty good. Yeah, so you can be a complete asshole with this list. You only have the one 10x of Infractors. Oh no, you have 2. And then 5 Tormentors. Okay, yeah. You got okay, so 2 10 Infractors. The 5x Tormentors, which that's usually your backline sticky. You could always toss them in a Rhino and leave them on the backline if your opponent has a metric ton of ranged attacks. I feel like... Let me take a look. How do I do this? I don't want to just put Discord on. Let me, I think Notepad is actually in dark mode for me. This could work out. No, let me center. Keep reading Notepad, doesn't let me do this. All right, here we go. Gonna get rid of combo chat for this. Just for a little bit. So you do have a little bit of an issue here. This is, and again, I love named characters for a lot of things, specifically EC, it's always great. But it is very hard to put this many points into a single model. The work this guy is going to need to do by the end of the game for both denying an area for people to go to, as well as like preventing certain positioning and being able to then go to an area when he needs to like kill. Like, this guy can't perform missions unless there's nothing else on the board. The work he has to put in is crazy, because if you have to move him to middle to get like 3 command points, or not command points, 3 victory points, and then he immediately dies, that is the worst expense of 365 points in the entire game. So this is usually your distraction Carnifex. Turn 2, turn 3, he needs to go from middle, where he's hopefully denying people moving up, to now immediately be in the back of the enemy's team, just like shutting stuff down, going for their objective if possible, if you can fit his ridiculous base over there, to get onto the enemy's objective and just kill them over there, or just put him in reserve and bring him down. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much I'm cool with Fulgrim in reserve just because of the size of his base. I feel like people could easily screen him out just everywhere. Lucius is definitely always a good concept. You may want to think of, especially for Peerless Bladesman, grabbing a regular Demon Prince at some point. DPs with wings are fantastic. I know people enjoy doing like 2 DPs with wings, and that's like one of the better options, I think, in a lot of situations. Because the on-charge mortals followed by actually being kind of good at melee is just too good. And if we go take a look at Peerless Bladesman, let me pull it up. Enhancements. You can target this bear with Heroic Intervention Stratagem for 0 CP and do so even if you have already targeted a different unit with that stratagem this phase. So here's the fun part about this. A combo that I've seen run in specifically this detachment is you take Lucius, which you have, you take an on-foot Demon Prince, okay? The on-foot Demon Prince has the Faultless Opportunist on it and is now sitting kind of out of vision of people. So when attacked, like if Lucius, let's say you're playing against, I don't know, Blood Angels or something, and the Blood Angels, you move Lucius onto mid and the Blood Angels go like, yeah, and they send all their stuff up mid to try to kill just Lucius. You have your Demon Prince on foot, just kind of out of sight, a little bit around a corner with this bonus. When he charges you, you do the Heroic Intervention, and if I'm correct, stratagems, I'm pretty sure you have it. Or it might be a different one. Till the end of the phase, tone model unit consolidation, cut down the weak. You need to declare a charge in doing so. You select an enemy target. That charge unit does not receive charge. Might not be the right one. Oh, no, it's a different one. There was one where you could force them to target. I think that's Coterie, maybe. Maybe it's not so good then. Distortion. Add 1 to the attacks and damage characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. That's pretty good here. It's also not that bad here. Blinding speed, model once per battle, start of the fight phase. Bearer can use this enhancement if it does until the end of the phase. Models the bearer's unit has fights first. Blinding speed, you got that right on one of these guys. You got distortion here. I don't know about fights first on him. I mean, it's probably good. I feel like there's more of a fear with fights first on a 10-man Infractor squad. Because if you have a 10-man Infractor squad standing on an objective and someone charges you, not only are you on the objective, now they're on the objective. You go fights first, you get full wound rerolls. It's like a whole thing. It sucks because you're not going to get lethal, or you're not going to get sustains, but you'll have lethals regardless, which is good. Let me think. But the sequence of the game is you have to layer stuff. Do I have a picture? Let me see. Where is... Here. So this is a common layout. This is a common terrain layout for a competitive game. This is a very common one local to me specifically. So normally you'll be set up on a quarter, which is usually just this area down here with the 9-inch around the middle point here. If you find a way to fit, because you have scout and all that, you can kind of drop your Infractor squad here and then scout if possible if someone doesn't infiltrate in this area. Scout into here. You can try to get your Chaos Spawn to run through the wall and try to put your Chaos Spawn up here while your 10-man is in this little box here. You can sort of get a 10-man here ready to move from this location up if need be. But you always want your chaos spawns on the forefront, because if you have a chaos spawn and you get a mission that's like, oh, be in this area and use an action, your chaos spawn can just be like, yeah, and just go there, and that's it. But if there's something about being on the objective in mid, what's cool about chaos spawn is they have a reactive move of 6. So if somebody gets like B near middle without an opponent on middle, and they move up with something that's like not that great, and you're looking around, and you're like, oh, how do I... Is there a way for me to force them to overcommit this early? You could reactive move your chaos spawn just in the middle, like within the 3 inches, to prevent them from being able to even score on the get to middle and hold middle. And that means this whatever moved up needs to be able to kill 2 chaos spawn, which that's insane. At the toughness and feel no pain factor that those things have, whatever came out here needs to be a good squad. If it's just fodder, then you just stand there. You don't even care about it. You can completely shut down their scoring with that reactive move alone. Normally you have an expansion one here. What people tend to do with Lucius and a Demon Prince, like a standard Demon Prince, is if there's the expansion objective in this area, you would move Lucius or the Demon Prince out and have the other one within the 3 inches so that they both give each other lone op, which would require the opponent to basically drastically push forward with everything in order to do anything here. Which, when you have a 10-man of infractors here, which maybe you've got a 10-man lining this wall, and then you've got Fulgrim right here, good luck. If you have Fulgrim here and a 10-man here, anything that comes into this region is suspect to death. And basically every round that you play, you could try to see if you can get here quickly and effectively. Like, as things start to vanish in this area from hopefully you rushing across the field with your infractors and like getting some kills in this area and sweeping through, eventually if this area is a little bit cleared enough or a little bit like just loose enough, you could keep rolling for Fulgrim to see if you get a high enough number to be like, and I'm here and I'm in your base in the following turn for like a charge, and just kill whatever they have back here, take their objective, make them have to turn around to stop Fulgrim, or just intercept something huge. If there's like a big dreadnought or a tank coming this way, you could easily just be like, and we're in. You get a DP down here to prepare to like rush through. What else are we looking at? So the infractors are at least the second wave, if not the first. Definitely. You have a Mauler Fiend. Mauler Fiends and Rhinos, you could consider them. Specifically the Rhinos. Rhinos and Spawns are definitely the key ones you should consider for running missions. Like, you're probably going to put at least one infractor squad, right? In a Rhino, you could put that Rhino here. Get the one infractor squad in it, move it 6 inches to be here. So you just have the box with the Rhino in it. When it comes down to you being like, all right, I need to get to the objective, I need to do some work, you disembark all of the infractors. The infractors can tuck in back here, maybe with some chaos spawn. You can do something like that. The Rhino can step out. The Rhino can be your 80-point come and get me unit, because Rhinos are tough enough that a small squad of people with guns and some okay melee aren't going to come around the corner and do anything about it. They're going to have to just come out and push up and hope, and then you just have all this back here. Key thing, 1 inch off wall. If you 1 inch off wall with all of those units, something that comes this way can't charge through the wall. So if they have like a big squad of, I don't know, Chaos Possessed or something back here, they have to get a big enough number on an advance and charge turn to rush out to like here to be able to charge you. Because if they go straight for you with like a bad number, they can't advance and charge for whatever reason. They have to get to like here, because these are each an inch. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this is about 8 inches here. And then to charge, they would have to roll good enough to go all the way around either direction with someone to get to you. So like you can really tinker with people's distances and location here. I feel like you're close. You're probably a few units away from having an effective use of, like, this detachment's functions. They've got good enhancements. I think they had really good stratagems, right? Like, or okay stratagems, at least. I think they had one where you charge someone who moved for 2 CP. They have pretty expensive stratagems, so I think they do want you to lean heavily into infractors, because infractors are the way that you generate command points for the most part. Tormentors can do it, but it's not that great. Improve armor pen of melee weapons. That's actually not bad, because you could improve the armor pen by 1 with that, and then if you happen to have an on-foot demon prince, he also provides an extra AP as well. So if you had an on-foot demon prince within 6 inches of your infractors who charged, your infractors are AP 3 damage 1 after a command point spent. That's crazy. Final wave is definitely the flawless blades, either with Lucius or without. I know a lot of people split flawless. I think you might want to do 2 squads flawless, MSU, rather than 1 large, because it's easier to position them in ways that might scare people out of areas. Because it's the same cost, to my understanding. It's still just like half. Like it's 110 for 3 or something. I understand wanting to put 6 with Lucius. It's a very strong, in theory, idea because of the whole Lucius. But Lucius, between the 2 squads, right? Flawless Blades do the enhancement. Lucius provides them nothing. They provide him the bonus that he wants. He provides them nothing. So having 3 give him the bonus, and then having another 3 somewhere else who can do a mission, who can go somewhere else and do something else, it's a little bit better. No, yeah. But the thing is, if they play a lot of shooting, like, do you play on fields like this? Because this is meant for, like, diagonal deployment, quarter deployment, staggered deployment, which I think is long here, short here, long here, short here. Because this is the GW setup for terrain, and this one in particular is very good for melee. A lot of GW maps lean into melee, because if you can't tell, shooting lanes are literally usually turn 1, you're popping through this area. This is your shooting lane, this is your shooting lane, specifically from quarters. Alternatively, you need to like rush something through here, which if you rush something this way, this is still not a shooting lane. You need to really push like with an advance to get down to here with most stuff to then turn this into a shooting lane. And then your other one is to usually sit like here, which when you pop out makes like this chunk a shooting lane just down to this little triangle here, which means this spot's usually safe against it. It's usually the next turn where it would go over top of here and turn this whole thing into a kill box. And that's kind of the pacing of it. So if they're heavy on shooting, it's very easy for you to pocket in the Magic Dorito. You could even probably line this wall. Like if you can move from here with a ton of stuff to like the other side of this wall in a staggered enough fashion that if something pops out here, it can't see. Something comes this way, it can't see. Then this is a dangerous place for them to be in. And then having a couple models that force the system. Oh, you play in a lot of shooting lanes? I don't know, man. You'd have to send me the terrain layouts. Because if your opponents are just like, hey, we play shooting armies. Here's, you set up on this side. We'll set up on this side. Here's like one diagonal building. Here's one diagonal building. Go. You're destined to lose. Like, you are straight up destined to lose. So, okay, if you ever want to play on a board like this. So what this board means here, right? All these squares are obscuring. It's the footprints of ruins. So anything on this side can't be seen from stuff on the other side, right? That's like a key thing. The blue stuff is below 2 inches in height for terrain, so vehicles can go over top of it, but they can't end on top of terrain. These gray things are suggested walls to have up. And all of these shapes here are very common. There's actually a lot of third-party sets of footprints that exist where you could buy them if you want, or, simple enough, get some cardboard or some pieces of paper and figure out the sizes you need to then cut those sizes to equate to these footprints. And you can place them down and then try to get like some cardboard cutout walls or something to be like, all right, there's terrain here, there's terrain here, there's terrain here. And these walls are, when you're on this actual footprint, the walls are basically meant to block most things behind them. If you're a knight, you should be taller than them, so you could, step on, see over the wall, and shoot stuff on the other side. But yeah, just figure out the sizes. You could probably find them on like different places online for, I think it's 4 small mats, 2 medium mats, and then a bunch of large mats. I think 6. Yeah, 6 large mats, 2 medium mats. You can just cut them out. Cut them out of cardboard, measure them up, Sharpie it, do whatever, and then just cut them out. And then when you play, you put your terrain down, and you can just physically place these. This is one of like 6 different layouts, or like 8 different layouts or something. They change based on different packs that you can find on Games Workshop's website. Because this is what the game's kind of designed for, to a degree, at the competitive state. Because this is a way to give you some shooting lanes without completely screwing over melee players. The game will feel a lot different if you get your friends playing something like this. They'll have to try a little harder to like get sight on you, and then you can at least have pockets you can send your melee guys to, where it's like, this is my region, send me a sacrifice that I may walk through this wall and kill you. It makes your opponent have to be smart about the characters they bring. Like Necron players will bring Wraiths with Chronomancers, because they could just walk to midfield with a bunch of Wraiths and a Chronomancer. As long as they hide the Chronomancer from you, you have to get through the Wraiths. Or you can outspeed them, go to the Chronomancer and just kill it, and it just utterly obliterates their power. They could send a Dreadnought to go sit on an objective and just be like, come get me. Like, it changes their options, rather than just being like, let me fill the field with Predators and Vindicators and just sit all the way across and just unload on you. That's a great way to get to a spot where you just don't want to play anymore. Once you guys start playing at that kind of like system of, I guess, better terrain, more interesting things for melee and range to deal with, then you can maybe start to reassess your list. Fulgrim might not want to stay in it for Peerless. You might want to swap over to, I don't know, more Infractors, maybe some more Flawless Blades. Maybe another Mauler Fiend. Mauler Fiends are good to just sit kind of near middle. They can either just walk out and stand on the objective and do stuff, or just wait for a vehicle to pop out and then just go for it. Are you still outscoring them? Do they just not move? Did they just buy stuff to try to, like, shoot people off board but not do missions? Which causes them to lose? Because, like, that's just going to permanently happen. Unless they start trying to, like, apply actual gameplay mechanics. And pick up some proper, like, scoring units and stuff. That's what I got hit with at the last time I went to this Too Many Games tournament. Imperial Guard players that did that. Just all tanks. There wasn't an ounce of space on the field I could hide. Partially why I'm bringing my my Chaos Knights. Because if they do that to me again, turn 1 every single time, I'm going to be doing the -1 to hit outside of 18. I'm like, that's it. That's all I'm doing. No, yeah. So they're doing what some of the new players at my local started to do. They like looked at stats and went, "Man, these are impossible to kill." And they have a lot of really good guns. I'm just going to run all of that. And that leads to not being able to do missions. You at least have enough flavorful units on your team that you could easily do missions while trying to get other stuff done. Because it's okay having fragile units, honestly. You just got to know how to use them. Put them on the other side of ruin walls, make them do missions. That is going to be a key thing I need to think about. We're still playing Pariah Nexus at this tournament, so I got to think in terms of like cleanse and contain and all that. I can also think in terms of how cleanse works, where I could just throw my Abominant and my Castigator onto an objective in middle and just start cleansing in bulk while just shooting stuff. But I don't know if that's going to work. I don't want to fix things. My Abominant and my Castigator are definitely supposed to go to mid while my Tyrant sits back. If they're not scoring points, you win. Like, if they can't make it to the middle objectives and you get, like, 2 rounds of being on them to get full score, you just win. It's, historically speaking, there are lists that do that are called jail lists. I mean, Emperor's Children doesn't have a proper jail list. But we kind of do what jail lists do for at least 2 turns. We go to points, we sticky them maybe with Tormentors, or we just happen to be near or on them while killing units. And if we full score 2 turns while doing it, and then your opponent only gets like maybe 1 turn of full score, then you're just going to win. Especially if they're not able to like achieve behind enemy lines goals or anything like that. Let's do the yellows. Gotta get all this yellow on here now. It happens a lot at the store too. Like, people just play hyper scared and they don't score. Tends to lead to weird situations. Probably the annoying part for me though is, like, there's times to be cagey, and then there's times to not be cagey. I feel like tournaments have gotten a little bit better at not using points differentials as, like, who takes first, who takes second, all that stuff. Because when you have armies like Thousand Suns, where there are some builds that like to castle, right? Like, they don't like to go across the field. They'll stand in areas, they'll do some missions, but they're completely fine with being in a spot where your opponent's going to go, oh, I could go there and score, but then I'll definitely immediately die. And, like, who wants that, right? Like, one of the people I play with is one of the, like, the higher-end Necron players in the U.S., and he played against one of the new Thousand Suns Cabal lists, and he scored, I think the end score of that game was like 52-53 is what he said. His opponent was playing so cagey that he just couldn't do anything, but then neither of them were doing anything. So it just kind of washed out. Hit the other icon with this. Oh yeah. Bright green is my jam. What's up, Peacock? JP. This is So Flat Fluorescent Yellow. Once we get this down on everyone, we're going to go back through with High Flow Fluorescent Green. We're doing it over top of Scorpion Green, because my old system was just doing Scorpion Green contrast paint and calling it a day. But I found a way to drastically brighten it. So that's what we're doing. We start with the yellow because So Flat is a bit of like a thick paint. Thin it down with a little bit of water. But it's sort of like a base paint in a way. It's a little bit transparent just because it's yellow, but it's one of the better ways to start with like a pretty bright surface before putting the green back on. Pretty basic system. You can tell the temperature's changed around here because all my magnets are starting to come off my old models. I gotta update them with the new glue that just works. Alright, pop quiz time. At least a pop quiz for me, rather. Infernal Lance's ability is Malefic Surge. Malefic Surge, I am allowed to mark for empowerment any of my Chaos Knights in my own command phase. This is a persistent buff that lasts until I trigger it, either during a move, advance, or fallback, an attack of either the fighting or shooting variety, or getting shot at or attacked in melee. For a command point at the end of any phase, I am able to reapply or just apply in general an empowering. Let me actually take a look at that. Because if it says you can only be empowered once per sequence, that's something I got to keep in mind. Just get that in. It's good to pop quiz yourself in these situations, because it really does need to come down to like making sure you have all the facts, you have every layer of how your army is going to work just tied into your brain. No, doesn't say anything about only once. Malefic Surge falls off at the top of every single one of my command phases. In particular, it will last through my opponent's command phase, if I so choose, allowing for the more defensive potentials. In the movement, it provides me an extra 3-inch of move. Honestly, this is fantastic, because this will work for the Little Knights as well, which means all Little Knights, barring the Carnivores, will be moving 15 inches. Carnivores will be moving 17. The Abominant moves 13. The Castigator moves 15. And the Tyrant will be moving 11. If I choose to use it for the movement. If I choose to use it in either shooting or fighting, it's used as you're about to pick your unit, I think slightly before. It will last for the entirety of the phase, regardless of which one I use. And it just lets me pick lethal or sustained as a bonus to whatever I'm doing. Lastly, when targeted by enemies and either shooting or fighting, I can enhance myself with a 5+ invulnerable, which doesn't sound impressive at first, but then you got to remember Knights, the invulnerable they have is only 4 ranged, not melee. So this would give me a 5+ invuln in melee. So if I'm about to get completely crammed in melee, this could be very useful. It also provides a 6-up Feel No Pain. Which 6-up Feel No Pains never sound interesting to me. I'm always assuming a 6-up Feel No Pain will involve nothing. But from what I keep hearing, 6-up Feel No Pains adjust the skewed math for how much you need to put in to kill a single model just a little too much. Like, there's always that slight chance they're going to get one 6-up and it's going to ruin your plans. Benefits the leadership has. Every single one of my big knights has an enhancement. The Abominant gets +1 to its weapon skill. So it's hitting on 2s with both its extra attacks and its normal attacks. And if I put it under the influence of the damage output function, in melee specifically, the sustained and lethal potential, which he would always get lethal, he comes with sustained. He will then also get Lance on top of it. Which is pretty good. The Tyrant has +1 toughness, giving him a maximum of 13 toughness. 1 higher than your average las cannon, which is nice. When under the influence of the damage reduction surge, he makes it so that his armor save rolls go up by 1 when being shot at by weapons with a damage profile of 1. Now, this is basically to reduce AP 1 weapons, damage 1 weapons to AP 0, and that's fine. But if I get shot at by a metric ton of bolt guns in a turn for, like, no reason, I suddenly have 2+ saves. Because this isn't like Benefit of Cover that limits it at 3. Finally, my Castigator has Assault on his Castigator Bolt weapon, which is pretty nice because it's 18-inch range, or it's like 24. It's either 24 or 36, but it's 18 shots hitting on 3s. It's like strength 6, twin linked, which is pretty good. AP, I want to say like 2 damage 2. Or is it higher? It might be AP 3. AP 2 damage too. I figured. It's kind of like a heavy bolter. Strength 6 though, not 5, which is normally heavy bolter. Twin linked makes it sick. His bonus ability is that when he is empowered, you cannot negatively modify his movement. Probably not a ton of use cases for that. But for the few that exist where someone's like, oh, if I do this, you won't be able to move, even with your movement enhancement, to get to the objective you want to get to. And then I just shut it off. It's like, no. Again, though, to make something malefic, I have to take leadership checks. Big knights are 6, little knights are 7. The empowerment occurs whether or not I succeed or fail. Perfectly fine. If I fail, though, D3 mortals. It's going to take me a while to normalize which weapons I'm using. Like, full knowledge of the weapons. The thing is, a lot of these characters have similar stats, but then, like, when you compare, let's say, a carnivore to a stalker with the same melee weapon, it's just completely different. Like, Stalker's chain cannon is 24. It's 24 inches. I thought it used to be 18. No, that was the Demon Breast Spear. That's why I needed to be 18-inch range from people. So the Avenger chain cannon, 24. Havoc multi-launchers across 5 of my mechs are all 48 inches. That's perfectly fine. 611 is the damage line. 12 attacks hitting on 3s. The Stalkers come with the benefit of +1 to the wound rolls if the target is outside of 6 inches of an ally. Bracketing is 1 to 5. Their claw attack is either 10-3-3, 4 attacks hitting on 3s, or 8-2-1, 8 attacks hitting on 3s. For the chainsword, the slaughter claw is where it's at. I basically have a ton of mini las cannons. Are you talking about the old stalkers or the new stalkers, Big Maple? New stalkers I think are great now. Old stalkers were what, reroll 1 dice or something? I remember them being dumb. Like, their old things was like reroll 1. Their main downside was that they were characters. Oh, okay. Don't do that while I'm trying to min-max and think of stuff. You're going to distract me. But yeah, so the regular claw is only 4 attacks on most people. Carnivores, I think it's like 6. Yeah, carnivores is 6. Still the same damage lines. The chain talon is more attacks. Is 10 and 12. 8, 9, 10. So it's just 2 extra attacks. Yeah, it's 2 extra attacks over the normal for the melee weapons. We're working on finishing up the rubrics. I'm decided to pop quiz myself on some stats for my Chaos Knights that I'm going to take to a tournament here in a minute. I think on Saturday. Carnivores are reroll advanced and charge. Yep, advanced and charge rolls. Stalkers are +1 to wound rolls for the 6. Yep. I think all of these are 1 through 5 for bracketing. They're all the same. Wounds 14, T9. Save 3. Yeah, leadership 7. OC 6 universal. Yep, 6. Wow, what you up to? Remembering Knight Tyrant weapons is going to suck. Volcano Lance I know is D3 attacks. Yep. 60 inch, so like if I see it, I kill it. It does have blast. Hitting on 3s. Strength 20, AP 5, D6 +8 damage. This is good if I can nail it, but the chance of nailing something with this, so mid to low. Just on average, I just have to assume I'm going to roll to attack once with this thing. When I do roll once, that's like it. I'm going to roll my single attack, and I'm going to miss every single time. I think, honestly, the best thing to do with it is to try to find, like, a Terminator squad. Just wipe it out. At least it has blast, so it's not the worst. Ectoplasm Decimator, D6 +3, universal stats. Base is 832. Its hazardous is 943. So just +1 to everything. Okay. 36-inch range, not that bad. Twin Desecrator Cannon, I have 1 of those. D6 Twin Linked Blast, 601. Demon Breath Melta, 2 of those. 1 attack each, 12-inch. 9-4 D6. The Geist Strikes, 72-inch range. Anti-Titanic 4, I need to keep that in mind. Although I think that almost doesn't matter. Oh no, it does with Dev Wounds. Okay. So if there's another Knights player, I just Geist Strike stuff. Strength 12, AP 6, D6 plus 1 damage. 2 attacks in total, hitting on 3s. I'm going to have to pull him up, I think, every time I play him. Abominant is main, though. Stubber, basic Stubber, 3 shots, rapid fire 3, 36. 501. Volkite Launcher, 12 attacks. That's the new update. 30-inch range, which is weird that it's just 30, but whatever. 3 up to hit, which I think the old one was 2s. I guess 3 is a decent interaction. It is strength 12, just AP nothing. 3 damage per with dev wounds, because the whole point is to roll for dev. Bale Mace, though. 3 extra attacks, 3, 8, 1, 2. 9 sustained hit 1s attacks, 3, 10, 2, 3. That one will have a Lance, and instead of hitting on 3s, he hits on 2s because of the upgrade. Castigator, his Tempest Blade, 4-3. I was thinking of giving him the Lance instead, but I think it'll be okay on the Abominant. Because having Lance on a Strength 14 just doesn't feel interesting to me. Especially when it's only like 4 attacks. It's got a little off. I don't know. I think he'd be good with the Lance upgrade, though. Might be better to give someone else Assault, or maybe just do like the command point free thing. Yeah, how's it going, Big Maple? I'm gonna need to pop quiz myself on stratagems, because stratagems, I know very few of them. I know there's the one in the shooting phase that is a battle shock test to even have anything happen. The main function of it is to just force a battle shock for a command point. I mean, that's super useful in a shooting phase. But probably not usable. Once per battle round, at the end of any phase, I can Remalefic Surge. Ooh. You're making a PC one for Western TTRPG? Like, are you setting it up, or are you actually just making, like, the full-blown game? Because neat. Oh, okay. You a forever DM? Finally getting to experience what it's like on the other side. I guarantee you halfway through your game, you're going to start like pseudo DMing. I think that's the best part about forever DMing. Even when playing, you're going to find moments where you're sitting there and you're like, hey, well, the rulebook says this. The DM is going to just start staring at you awkwardly from across the table. Or the Discord call, whichever one it is. Good times ahead. Alright, let's get this green on. That way these guys are done. 7 o'clock. I'll be able to call it. 2.5 hours just about. I'll keep quizzing myself. I might reach out to my local group. I think we will stream tomorrow, though. We're not going to do the Helldrakes, because that's insanity. Instead, we're actually going to try to tear into our Sekret robot conversions that we've got here. I think that'd be fun. Could finally start doing like the yellow and blue lining. Maybe get some tonal stuff to work out. Do the greens on the weapons. The little ghost. I don't quite like how they look. The spindly nature of Ozark Bone Reapers is just not as interesting as I thought it was going to be. But maybe we can make it work. I don't know. I feel like once color hits it, it might change my opinion. Well, that's cool. What kind of is it like full immersion TTRPG, or is it like a module that you have to kind of make a team and then hopefully get through it? What you got? Because the only Cowboy Indian like RPG of any kind I've seen was the Red Dead Redemption 2, the like 2M version of it. I can't remember what they called it. I think they just called it Red RP, I think. I watched a little bit of that. It was kind of interesting, but I heard that a lot of the mods that worked on those servers, they did a lot of like favoritism stuff that completely screwed over a bunch of content creators. People that I watch specifically. But like, what's your goal? Is this like cowboys and natives fighting Cthulhu, or is it straight up like there's towns, there's proper just world building? Because that'd be kind of cool. Vampire invasion of the Western U.S. I'll play my level 3 tracker. With +5 to animal handling due to my native background. Feels redundant putting that icon on a flamer. Oh, so this is like a hardcore survival TTRPG. Nice. Tarkov, Old West Edition. That could be cool. It's been a while since I've played like a full-blown TTRPG. I wouldn't mind getting back into one. But I don't know. That's one of those like time constraint things. I really want to make some videos for my YouTube channel. And I feel like if I add on top of trying to go to tournaments and casual game events a TTRPG, it's like, ugh. I mean, I still wish I play 40K. I love that stuff. That's why I'm here. I think my problem though with TTRPGs, not like TTRPGs like as an issue, but the way I play them that might annoy people. I try to do like dumb weird stuff within the rules themselves. Like I feel like a lot of the people I've played with in the past, they try to just like focus on the fantasy, the immersion, right? It sort of plays out in their heads, kind of like how a Lord of the Rings novel just plays and all that. Like it's that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to create a character who's gonna hit like the bad guy at the end with power word diarrhea to see if like that works out. Oh, it's the time though, man. It's the time. I got a good friend of mine who's like 2 maybe 3 years ago. He was talking to us about playing a game of D&D over Discord because he lives out in Cali. Supposedly he's moving back though. But even then he was like, "Oh, dude, we'll play. Welcome back." And hopefully power word diarrhea didn't, you know, hopefully you made the con save against it. If not, I'm sorry for your chair. I have a good time, Big Maple. Like I think with TTRPGs, I think I push my characters a little too far into the like excessively quirky to the point where like it's a little obnoxious maybe to deal with them. I should probably cut back on that. I don't know. Like I would still love to play my illusionist named Hans, who is basically just two hands fused together so that one hand is the bottom half of his body and the other hand is his head with an eyeball just in the middle of it. Due to a curse he wishes to break. He speaks through the magic of a ring he wears, but he can't control it. So occasionally he talks really quietly and then yells immediately after. Sometimes even mid-sentence. His mage hand just creates an image of himself. If his ring stops working, he uses a weird set of sign language he invented. Like game 3 when I randomly just start yelling into my microphone. I think that's immediately when the people I play with are like, can we just not do this anymore? God, it's been a while since I've watched Legends of Evantris. I might have to put that on my side monitor for some editing this next week. Oh, here we go. The final unit. Boom. That is the last 20 rubrics. Just finished the 20 Terminators this morning. These guys are going to need to be varnished. Oh my god, it feels good, man. The question really does come down to this, though. Like, how are we going to do this? I don't know. There's some segmenting on the bodies, of course, because it's bone related. But like maybe we do most of the chest plate in burgundy. Still an issue though, because part of my brain's like, let's just wait for the actual robots to drop. And if they're cheap enough, pick up like 2 boxes. Because it's squads of 2 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 2 or 6? Yeah, 2 to 4. And I honestly don't think you need more than 1 squad. For 180 points, that's not good. 90 points is already a little too much for 2 of them. Only with 4 wounds and 6 toughness. They're a slightly better Terminator. Oh, I don't know. I think I might reach out to see if anybody's willing to take up a game on Wednesday.
Poggers.
Well, thanks, Sean O'Neill. Because, yeah, I kind of want to try it, man. I need to get these varnished either way. Gonna do that before the sun goes completely down. And I gotta get ready to edit. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for popping in. For the most part, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna stream the rest of the week. I'm gonna try to get other stuff done. If I don't stream, then hopefully I can actually spend the time putting together videos. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, let me get moving. Let me get all this stuff set up. Till next time, guys. Later.